you never existed.
Mom, Dad, can't you hear me?
The door to an unseen world has opened. You're on the verge of disappearing unless you confront the truth.
Why can't anyone see me? Am I not really here?
You can't be free until you confront reality. Nobody can see me.
When I opened my eyes, there was an unusual silence in the house. I had woken up to the morning light after the darkness of night, but I immediately felt that something was off. As I walked down the hallway, instead of hearing my parents whispering, I found only silence. This quiet sent a chill through me. Normally, I'd hear my family moving around at this time, but today there was no sound. I headed to the kitchen, eager to see them. When I reached the kitchen, my mum and dad had already started breakfast. I called out, "Good morning," but they didn't even look at me. My voice seemed to hang in the air, vanishing without an echo. "Mum? Dad," I said, louder this time, but they still didn't respond. I moved closer and tried to touch my mum's shoulder, but she didn't feel my hand. I couldn't make sense of it. It was like an invisible wall between us, separating me from them completely. I stepped back in a moment of terror. My heart was pounding as I tried to understand what was happening. I ran to their bedroom, yelling, desperate to make them see me, but it was useless. Everything felt upside down. The world I knew was gone. Amidst all this confusion, I started to feel lost. As I tried to make sense of it, a shadow appeared in the house. I followed it down the hallway, wanting to know what it was. The shadow led me to my own room. I stopped and swallowed hard before entering. Inside, I saw a child sleeping in my bed. That child was me. I staggered back in shock, unable to believe my eyes. How could that child be me? But right in front of me, it was as if something unreal was there. My mom and dad could see this child. They talked to him, recognized him. Yet I was completely erased, lost. In fear and confusion, I went back to my room. I sat on my bed trying to think, but my mind was a mess. Why couldn't my family see me? Why were they acting like I was a stranger, even though I was right there with them? I felt lost and forgotten. Was this a dream? Or was it real? At night, things got even scarier. During sleepless nights, I noticed I couldn't even hear my own voice. Even my inner voice had lost its echo. It was as if everything was trying to erase me, to make me disappear. One night, as I was trying to sleep, I heard a whisper in the darkness. "You need to remember the truth." The voice echoed through the room in a chilling way. My eyes opened in fear, and I saw the shadow in my room again. But this time it was closer, watching me. I followed the shadow as it moved through the dark corners of the house. Eventually, it led me to the attic. There, I found an old photo album. I opened the dusty cover and started looking through the pictures. The album was full of old photos of me with my mum and dad. But in every photo, my face looked a little more faded. It was as if every memory of me was slowly vanishing. When I reached the last page of the album, I found an old note. It said, "To keep existing, you must face your past." The words echoed in my head. What did it mean? How could I confront my past? Over the next few days, I spent nights in silence, examining each photo in the album. The traces of my childhood with my mom and dad were preserved in the album, but in every picture, I looked more faded. I was almost like a ghost. One night, as I looked through the photos, I noticed a shadow standing behind my mom in the last picture. It was the shadow that had been following me. A chill ran through me as I leaned in closer to the photo. Among the shadows, a face stared back at me. It was a part of my old self. Now I understood. The shadow was calling me because something was hidden deep in my past. A force was trying to erase me from this world, and if I didn't confront it, I would completely disappear. I had to make a choice. Either I would face this dark past and survive, or I would be erased. With one last hope, I decided to follow my old shadow. I started descending to the basement of our house. In a corner of the basement was a dusty chest. When I opened it, I found my old toys and baby clothes. But beneath everything was a terrifying truth. I found a diary. It was from my childhood. I opened the diary and began reading. Written on its pages were painful memories I had tried to forget. The traumas, fears, and lost memories from my childhood were all written on its pages. At that moment, I understood why this shadow had been following me for so long. It was the fears I had refused to face in my past. Confronting those fears set me free, but it came at a price. When my family finally saw me again, I couldn't tell them everything. I just continued on, different from before. My shadow was gone, but what it taught me would remain with me forever. After this, nothing was ever the same. As I walked through the hallways of the house, the shadows of the past continued to watch me. But now I knew they weren't unrecognized memories. They were my own past. Though a deep unease lingered within me with every step, I had not severed my bond with this world. And now I understood that no child who grows up without confronting their past can truly be free.